All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today we're tackling what is hands down every photographer's biggest outdoor challenge, getting consistent, beautiful lighting. If you've ever found yourself cursing the clouds or sweating through a midday shoot just because the sun won't cooperate, you are definitely in the right place. Let's jump right in.
You know the feeling, right? You go out, you completely crush a shoot, come home, slap on your favorite editing preset, and it totally falls flat. One photo looks great, and the very next one looks completely wrong, even though they were taken on the exact same day. So why does this happen?
Well, there's this great comment from a photography forum that really hits the nail on the head. It's tough to be consistent when the light isn't. If you're relying entirely on the environment to provide your light, you're just completely at the whim of the sun. It moves, clouds roll in, the intensity drops. Relying on that kind of unpredictable source makes consistency across a full gallery nearly impossible. So, here's our roadmap for this explainer. We're looking at the consistency problem, mastering natural light, the flash photography advantage, blending ambient and strobe, and finally, overcoming sync speed limits.
Let's start right off with Section 1, the consistency problem.
Here's the thing. Consistency is actually way less about the fancy preset you bought and much more about normalization. You got to get your raw image to a neutral, clean starting point before applying anything. Because natural light shifts constantly. If you fail to normalize your baseline white balance and tint first, your creative edits are literally going to fight the changing light. Instead of sitting nicely on top of a neutral baseline, your preset just exaggerates the unpredictable lighting, making everything look a little bit off.
Moving right along to Section 2, mastering natural light.
Before we talk gear, let's talk nature. Finding open shade is absolutely your first and best defense against those brutal, downward shadows from the midday sun. We're talking about an area shaded from direct sunlight, maybe by a building or a tree, but facing outward so there's still plenty of ambient light bouncing around to expose your subject properly. No raccoon eyes here.
Now, there is a huge difference between good shade and bad shade. It's crucial to position your subject right at the edge of the shade, looking out toward the light source. That yields clean, natural skin tones. But if you push them deep into heavy shade, like, say, directly underneath a dense leafy tree, you're going to get dark shadows and these terrible green color casts that make your subject look, well, kind of like a zombie.
But hey, sometimes you just can't find good shade. If you absolutely have to shoot in the blazing sun, a basic natural light toolkit is a lifesaver. A cheap 5-in-1 collapsible reflector is a real game changer here. You can bounce much-needed light back into your subject's face, or use the diffusion panel to soften the harsh sun hitting them from above, or simply turn them away from the sun so it acts as this gorgeous, natural rim light on their hair.
Okay, Section 3, the flash photography advantage.
When natural light just isn't cutting it, bringing a strobe on location for a fill flash solves things instantly. It fixes that classic outdoor headache, the blown-out background. When you expose for a bright sky, your subject turns into a silhouette, right? Fill flash simply adds a burst of light directly on your subject, balancing them perfectly with that bright background.
So, let's weigh the two. Natural light is super portable and fantastic for a fast-paced, informal lifestyle vibe. But flash? Flash gives you total control. It guarantees crisp, saturated colors, requires way less editing later, and it guarantees those sparkling little reflections in your subject's eyes, catch lights. They really bring a portrait to life.
This right here is a massive advantage. If you're shooting at 1 p.m. in June, the sun is relentless. But with flash, you can turn your subject completely away from the sun. The sun now becomes a beautiful backlight, preventing them from squinting, while your flash perfectly and evenly illuminates their face from the front.
To pull this off, you're going to need some gear. Portable battery strobes paired with the right modifier give you ultimate control over the mood. Softboxes give you beautiful soft light. Taking it off leaves a bare flash for an edgy, hard light. And a pro tip for you, out in the elements, a wind-resistant beauty dish is much safer than a giant umbrella that might catch a gust of wind and completely wreck your light stand.
All right, Section 4, blending ambient and strobe.
This is the ultimate professional technique. To seamlessly blend the environment with your strobe, strictly follow these 4 steps. 1. Choose your background composition. 2, and this is absolutely vital, expose for the ambient light, ignoring the subject completely. 3. Bring your subject in. They'll likely be dark. Step 4. Turn on your flash and adjust the power until the subject perfectly matches the background.
If you're in charge of the light, you're in charge of the look of the photo. I absolutely love that quote.
By separating ambient light from your flash, you are firmly in the driver's seat of your creative vision. You can purposefully underexpose the background to make it look dark and stormy, then light your subject normally so they dramatically pop. It's totally up to you.
Finally, Section 5, Overcoming Sync Speed Limits.
So here's the big technical hurdle with outdoor flash. Most cameras can only sync up to about 1/120th of a second. If you shoot faster than that, a black shutter band literally creeps in and ruins your frame. But on a sunny day, to avoid overexposing at 1/120th, you're forced to use deep depth of field apertures like f11. That means saying goodbye to that beautiful blurry background we all love.
To get that gorgeous blurry background back in broad daylight, you've got two solutions. High-speed sync, or HSS, where the flash pulses rapidly so you can use shutter speeds way beyond 1/200th. Or an ND filter. Think of an ND filter like sunglasses for your camera lens. It reduces ambient and flashlight equally, letting you use regular sync speeds without blowing out the image. The result? Pure magic. By using HSS or an ND filter, you're no longer stuck at f11. You can open that aperture all the way back up to f2.8. You completely isolate your subject, melting the background into a creamy blur even right in the middle of a sunny afternoon.
Let's pull it all together into the ultimate blend strategy. If you want it to look natural, keep your flash power low, just a kiss of light. Place the flash in the shade so it isn't fighting the sun. If you're shooting at golden hour, throw an orange CTO gel over your flash so the color temp matches the warm sun. Do this and you essentially turn any outdoor spot into your own private, natural-looking studio.
Next time you step outside with your camera, remember, you have the tools and the knowledge to make the light work for you. So, I'll leave you with this. Will you let the weather dictate your creative vision, or will you take control of the light? Thanks for tuning into this explainer, and keep exploring.